everyone, and welcome to the Lizard Brains podcast. I'm your host, DJ Allison Drini. I'm joined by my co-host, Tom O'Gorman. Tom?
Yes.
You just laugh at me. This is how the show's starting, with just a little chuckle at Tom at my shenanigans.
I'm good. Akron Sports Car Club Challenge winner.
Bum, bum, bum,
How are you?
Pretty good. Gonna be honest, I didn't expect to win that. Your car was looking real fast until it wouldn't stop.
I know. Well, yeah, because I don't have those hot brakes on it.
Let's go. Actually,
someone said we need to thank our sponsors more, so I threw that in there.
I was getting they don't want to call it ice mode or whatever, but I was getting that too. But I could push through it. When I got it, I just had to like leg press the pedal and it would still slow the car down. So I was doing that a lot.
It. Yeah. We're just talking about a fun little autocross we did tonight. We both got to drive a pair of Corvettes, but I just have a history of being freaking terrible in these little challenges, whether it's a local for fun test and tune challenge thing at the end or like the pro finale. I just suck at them. Or even UMI, I kind of blew it a little bit. I like coned out of it. I don't know.
You made it to the
Someday
finals.
I'll figure it out.
I don't know. And you got to hold a giant check. The check didn't say 20 grand on it, but it still was a 4-digit number. So
yeah, one less zero.
Yeah. Did you get your gift cards? Because just making it to the challenge, you got like Summit bucks. Did you grab that?
Oh, nope.
Well,
I came home to do this podcast. I had stuff to do, places to be.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Maybe
I got so tired on the drive home. I'm not gonna lie. I'm starting to feel the wear these last couple of weeks right now.
Yeah, guys, just for context, maybe Tom will share, but like Tom's been running ragged lately. You had Solo Nationals, Champcar, and then from that, you had like nope, because then you did some oval driving with Erica Teal's EG Hatch, or not.
I literally just kind of have a list of stuff that I just like did in the last 2.5 weeks to talk about, because we haven't really caught up other than Nationals, which was all talking about Nationals. Real quick, I hope everyone enjoyed our daily episodes from Solo Nationals, whether you're an autocrosser or not. It was obviously successful because we learned yesterday that we were in the top 100 automotive podcasts on Apple Podcasts last week, which is so cool.
When you sent that to me, I was like, what? Okay, hold on. And I was like scrolling up. I was expecting to see like other podcasts that like I listened to in there. They were below us. They weren't even above us.
It was so cool. That's a good little surprise. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed those daily episodes. But yeah, I've been up to some wild stuff. What have you been up to since Nationals?
I'm plotting.
You want to give me a final little?
Yeah, I'm
I listened to your episodes with Peter. Go ahead.
I'm plotting to go after Chris Harris. He's holding that #1 spot. My lizard won't be happy till we're #1, Tom.
We're gonna stop lizarding motorsports and start lizarding podcasts.
Yeah, you hear that, Chris Harris? I don't even know who you are.
I think we need a podcast host with an accent to be like a #1 in the world.
Yeah, probably. I think the American accent for the majority of the world is kind of tough to listen to.
And we can't even say stuff right in that accent.
That's true. Okay. Well, you know what? We're going for top 50. That's probably an attainable goal.
We were top 60 already. I like that goal.
Yep. All right. Top 50 sustained. I want to see
episodes 2 a days.
Yo, let's go. Guys, would you listen to 2 Lizard Brain episodes a day? What if we just came out with a podcast every day, but it was like 15, 20 minutes? We would jump like to the freaking top of that list, dude.
Someone told me that recently that they listened to us 11 episodes straight on a road trip. Whoa, and it wasn't to Nationals or anything. I was like, that's too much of us. I can't handle that much of me. No.
And I am me.
Yeah, I am me.
Yeah.
So I listened to you and Peter on the way to or from Mid-Ohio one of the days. And I had like the most vicarious fun high listening to you guys download. But do you have any final closing thoughts, since we haven't seen each other to do that from Nationals?
I got to figure out how to do better first runs. I think that's probably like my lowest hanging fruit right now. Cause I think I could eventually get up to pace, but maybe my go switch is not quite finely tuned as it needs to be.
Did you think about that today?
Yeah, like it took me like 3 or 4 runs in Mike's car to be like, okay, yeah, now we're like like having it float on entry, and like I'm getting in the throttle as fast as the car will let me get into it. Like I just wasn't adjusting the way I should be.
Sure.
Or I wasn't like right out of the rip like how I should be either. So I think that's just it's something I've noticed, and it's kind of limiting my performance, I think. So I haven't figured out a way to like figure that out yet, like a way to practice it or a way to think about it or anything like that. But it's just I've recognized the problem, and now I have to figure out like a way to turn specific things into habits, or to change like a thought process on something, or like figure out a way to practice it. Something I gotta figure out something. Because what I'm doing right now is it's missing that part of my performance. My competition is lacking in that area. So I just need to get better at that. Because I saw you, and then Alex Peel and Mark Daddio, and like you guys all just do like really solid runs on your first runs. And I never do that. I never do that. My first run is never my fastest run ever. So there's like
Hmm.
something missing in my approach, whether it's like my approach on how I walk the course, or something with my vision, or I haven't figured it out completely. I've figured out the problem. I just haven't figured out like the root cause of what's causing that, essentially. If you have any thoughts, let me know.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. That's such a unique challenge that I don't think most people even have to deal with in motorsports, where it's that go switch, like go now.
Yeah.
Other than like certain qualifying formats, I can only think of like our grassrootsy, either autocross or one lap. But I know for me, the big mental shift when I used to just, like I've talked about before, throw everything at the wall, see what stuck. Like I would just freaking shake the dice and throw them out there and like decide that the slalom was flat out and make wild choices like that. And I was very unpredictable on my first run. Like I didn't know really what I was going to get for my first run.
Yeah.
And when I stopped trying to go as fast as possible and started trying to just put in a mistake-free run as close to the limit as possible, I started becoming a lot better at that. But it wasn't like a shift immediately. It was just
Like a
an
fine
approach.
tune.
Yeah, something that I had to do over time to become better at. And I can't even remember a day that I just decided to do that. I think it was just a mindset that I developed over time, realizing that I had a tendency to either nail my first run or way overdrive it. And then if I nailed my first, I would way overdrive the second, which meant that I needed to be more strategic with my like 3 run approach. I don't think that answers your question, but that
Not
was
really.
there. It's very much the same, like an observation of the problem is the first step in solving it. So I think you're on the right path. I just don't know how to specifically do that, other than if you start really honing in on what sort of mistakes you make on first runs,
Yeah,
or
maybe
things that lose you time,
I think
like
I
if there's a
should.
pattern.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a good idea. I think I should record them, because normally I just like I'll just pull like my fastest run off the camera, like Peter's camera. I'll pull that off the camera and see like oh okay, and then I work from there to like figure out like what I can get better at, right? But if I pull the first run off, then maybe I'll find a trend. I like that. I love that idea. I'll find a trend in why is the time not what it should be, and then compare that to the run that I eventually put together that I'm happy with,
Yep.
and just try to figure out the difference there, and then that will give me some kind of direction on how to get better at that. I love that. Thanks.
Yeah, this is great. Actually, it ties in perfectly to stuff we talked about this weekend at the Champcar race. So I left nationals a couple days before DJ, and I drove straight to Mid Ohio and did a Champcar race. Real quick audio check. Is anybody else hearing us at different levels significantly? Type in the chat if you do. Otherwise,
It's gonna be this.
I
It's the same on my end. So
okay, cool. I went into Mid Ohio, and we had a fun group that I wanted to tell stories about. But one of the things that we talked about a lot was racecraft, which meant we were watching a lot of video. And what you just brought up about we make a bad habit of only watching our best runs, or we only make a bad habit of watching our best laps. I fall into this trap when I'm looking for myself, but even when I'm coaching others, I pull up the best lap on data and the best lap on video and compare the best to the best. And watching through, 30 minutes maybe ish of each driver's stint from the Champ Car race this weekend, and noticing patterns of either like racecraft decisions or the way the ebb and flow of like if they were by themselves versus with traffic and the way they drove differently and stuff. That's like a thing you would completely miss if you didn't go into your
Yeah.
data and video and go watch like the first 7 laps, not just the fastest eighth lap or whatever it is. I think that's probably a really good little mental note for a lot of us to make is don't fall into the trap of I've literally never thought about this before, but don't fall into the trap of only looking at your fastest run, fastest lap. Because maybe there's actually a lot of power in like looking at those first 2, 3, 4 laps for someone who thinks they build slow.
Yeah.
Like
Like why? Why? What are
what
you
yeah.
doing differently that's making you build slower than you could otherwise? Like if you could get up to speed faster, then you're going to have more information. Like your overall fastest lap will be faster because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
But
there's
I
some
think
low-hanging fruit there for sure.
but we make we skip over stuff so quickly to just look at the best stuff. I
Oh,
like that. I'm going to remember that.
the thing is like that's worked for me so far, right? Like because I take what I'm best, like my that's pinnacle DJ. I'll watch like a lap that's like that's the best I could do, and I'll pick that apart. Because why pick a lap apart that like is bad, right? So I think if you go into it with a different perspective of like, okay, like how can I improve? It's like I think you have to go into it with the perspective of like that's why I think you have to look at like that first run to the run that you're happy with and see if there's any trends in what is different. And Alex Peel, who's blessing us with his presence tonight, he pointed out that I'm in a different car, but Tom's in a different car too, and like he he does it, and maybe there's something to like maybe if I just took Peter's car out for like a drive before I ran it because I haven't driven that car. I've like drove a Corolla or an F-150 for 2 weeks since the last time I drove an FRS, and I pull up to the line and then I launch it. Right? Maybe there's something
Yep.
to that, like where I just go drive it out on the road and hit the brakes a couple of times and throw it back and forth and whatever, and then I'm like, cool, yeah, this is like I'm a little bit more in tune with what I can expect from the car instead of just like throw it into the course. Maybe I think there's something there for sure. Um, but you don't like when it comes to a race car, you don't get that liberty. You can't just take a caged race car out on the, especially if you're doing like an endurance thing or whatever. But the
Yep.
consequences aren't as high if it like you're a half second off on the first lap and then you're dialing down from there, right? Like it's way different in autocross. So
Yeah. And also you get an outlap. Usually we've talked about outlaps before
yep,
a couple times on here about how to treat them and stuff. So,
true.
uh, what were we talking about at the event today that was something to do with that?
With
Oh, the difference in autocross and road course when my on one of my runs today, my contact in my right eye kind of shifted and it was all foggy. So I like slowed down during the run and like fixed my eye and they were like, "What would you do?" I was like, "That would suck if that happened in a race or something." But I guess it doesn't matter as much because I can vaguely aim for the gray in the race. Anyway, uh,
Mark Kruger in the chat, he said, "Tom is Tom. No offense, DJ." Mark, I hear you. Tom is literally the greatest, but that's what we should be chasing. Like we should be chasing what Tom does or what a better version of Tom would do. Like that's what we should be chasing. To me, that's the fun of motorsports is like it's a never-ending mountain. Like you're just climbing it cuz Tom's climbing the same thing. He's just a little higher up than most of us, right? So like if at some point if I could catch up to Tom and have him chasing me, that would be cool. I would love that.
or think of it this way: I have peaked. Wait, is this a good thing? I've peaked so many Mount Stupids. I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Tom
uh,
Tom is a like a never-ending Dunning-Kruger. Tom's slope of
the com-
enlightenment. Tom's slope of enlightenment is just a bunch of Dunning-Kruger curves, just over and over again that are like slowly ascending up.
What's that like infinite pattern that does the swirls? Does anybody know the name of that thing? It's like
Mm.
this mathematical equation that turns into an infinite pattern. Uh, That's
There's
me, but I'm the king of peak stupid or
there's
Mount
one of
Stupid.
those there's one of those in terms of like music where it's like a chord, it's a series of chords that like continually go up, but then it just sounds like it's constantly going up, but it's like the same average frequency. I forget what that's called, but that's a thing. It's Mario's staircase, the infinite staircase. It does that in Mario 64. I don't know what it's called, but
Copy.
that's where it does it.
So if you need an example, just Google that, I guess, or
Just
go play
Google that
Mario
and you'll know.
64.
Well, it's gonna take you a little while to get to that staircase. Maybe just Google like infinite staircase music, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about.
I think Raul said fractals. I think fractals what I'm thinking of. Anyway, what did you do between leaving nationals and today at the what? At the autocross? Do you have a good weekend?
Yeah, I when I got back, so I left Friday. I drove till like midnight or 1 in the morning or whatever. I slept for I don't know, like 5 hours. Got back in the car because I was like, well, I'm awake. I don't know why I woke up. I just woke up. I drove home.
Where did you get it? Where did you get out of the car from? Like a hotel?
Yeah, I just stopped at a hotel. I found a
Oh.
$90 hotel. Tom, prices on hotels are coming down. It makes me so happy because there was like years after COVID where like if I stopped at that same hotel, it would have been like $180.
True.
Yeah, so I was dreading that because that's what I thought I was gonna get, and then when I stopped and it was $90 in the bed, like I didn't feel the springs in the bed, like it was actually a comfortable bed. I was pretty pumped about that.
I might have to give you a little like logistics shopping coaching
I'm
because
down.
I
Wait,
don't I don't know that $90 is a win of an affordable hotel.
um,
It's okay.
so
That's tolerable,
I
but
think in the like I don't like going much cheaper than that. Oh my god, I sound like such a rich guy right now. Let's go. Um, I don't like going much cheaper than that because those are generally party hotels, and I want to sleep.
true. Yeah, good point.
So if it was in the middle of the week, probably no big deal. But this was Friday night, and I didn't want to stop at a party hotel.
Uh, Real quick tangent. Sorry, I'm interrupting your story about this, but I I've been becoming more and more of a lodging snob too because I'm finding that makes this lifestyle and this like traveling for this hobby and stuff so much better if you have the opportunity to do it or put yourself in the paddock situation like where it's just fun. Like I camped out and we camped out that one weekend a couple weeks ago. That was so fun too. Anyway, so you're traveling home from nationals.
So
You're stopping at a hotel and on your way home.
yep. So then I got home, and then like 15 minutes after I got home, Christine got home, and I was like, "We going hiking?" I'm like dead tired, and she's like, "Okay." And then we like basically played chicken till we were at the trail and we were hiking, because we were waiting for the other person to back out, and then we went on like a 5 mile or 6 mile hike, um, and and then we just got a new couch, because our old couch would hurt us, so we got a new couch, and it required a lot of assembly, so we assembled that till like 1 in the morning. Oh my God, Tom, I did nothing that Sunday. I just laid around on the new couch. We watched so much TV. It was great. It was so good. I recharged. You were still like racing and stuff. I was recharging.
I, I'm like I'm so looking forward to that on like October 7th or whenever it finally happens. I can't
It's like
remember
a
when it
month
finally happens.
away.
That sounds amazing.
What are you doing tomorrow?
I'm going to Mid Ohio tomorrow.
Oh, geez. Wait, what's happening at Mid Ohio? Is there like a
There's a
test?
private it's a private track day. Like
Oh, gotcha.
do you remember last year when I went to the track day? It's this group of people that are wealthy business owners and they're part of a club that they network with each other and they somehow decided they wanted to put on a track day, realized they don't know how to do it, so they private labeled or private hired whatever auto interest to do it for them. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. They did one at Indianapolis like a couple years ago.
Kinda. That was a little different, but this is the same group doing it again for their second year in a row. So I guess that's good. They loved it, but
Yeah.
that was the day I got to drive like a Cayenne Turbo S on track, which was stupid, in a good way. It was amazing.
Did you just do the
Uh,
oval or did you do the whole road course?
oh, at Indy. Oh, that's a different day.
Oh
We did
no.
the road course and the oval.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, was it the Fit that you had like ripping the oval? Not the Fit. The Pilot, the Honda Pilot.
Yeah, hang on. Let me clarify these stories because these are totally separate
Sorry,
stories. The Mid
I'm
Ohio
jumbling it
private
all
group.
up.
You're good. You're good. You're good. The Mid Ohio private group is the same group 2 years in a row. The Indianapolis day, that was VIPs and members or something of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway who were like giant donors, and they all have box seats and stuff.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
they had the whole weekend to themselves with the road course, and then they got to do the oval as like a parade exhibition thing. And they all had like 7 cars there, and there was new Ford GTs. That one was different. That was nuts.
Yeah, that was like normally you don't see those cars on the racetrack because they're busy like appreciating in a garage somewhere
Yeah.
in somebody's collection.
And the guys are like, can you drive me in these cars? Like, I want to see what it can do. Like, well, yes, sir, I can.
Yes, sir.
I'm your guy. Yeah.
Uh, Tell your friends.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Uh,
Okay, so
Sometimes we get to do wild stuff.
all right, so you're going to a private like are you like coaching or are you hanging and like catching
Little
keys
bit of
or
both.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. Catching keys. I like that.
Yeah. When if they start flying, you got your catcher's mitt.
I
You're
thought you
ready.
meant the people for
You'll
a
like
second.
you'll like you'll have like 2 catchers mitt. You're just like ready.
I look like a little lobster.
Yeah.
I and I'm
You're
I'm
waving.
excuse me. I'm your friendly pro driver, Tom.
It's like it has like an outline of a key in the mitt.
Yeah. These are really inconvenient for driving, but great for catching keys.
Catching keys is the hard part.
Can you imagine driving with baseball gloves on? Oh my god.
You mean mitts, not gloves? Those are different. Wait,
What's the difference?
wait. Do they call them gloves?
I don't know anything about baseball. I don't know.
I think we just exposed ourselves, Tom.
I don't think we were fooling anyone. At least I wasn't.
Yeah, probably not. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we went to a autocrossy thing today. And it it was a little bit of a shit show, Tom.
Are you going there? That's where we're going?
Yeah, that's where I'm going. Well, it's like uh it's the course was continually changing, so the times were irrelevant because
Oh
like
yeah, 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 yeah.
like Tom, when we were doing our 41s, there weren't chicane. Well, there were still chicanes, but there wasn't a cone on exit. I was like dropping a half a tire in the dirt because that was obviously what was fastest. Also,
Yeah,
the chicanes
that
without
was
the cone on exit was actually a good time.
it was so fun. We were at this it's Dragway 42 Akron Sports Car Club. We've talked about it before. And they just did like an unlimited run open from 3 to 6 kind of thing. Just go make runs. But they didn't really have anybody working the course, so the course would just go into various array of disrepair. Just be like all over the place. I've never seen so many apex cones knocked into the
That's
track
what
from the inside.
dude. Me and I think it was Peter. Were you there when we were having this conversation about cones ending up on the track, like in weird
Maybe.
ways? I'm like, did somebody slide sideways into this at the apex? Like, did they go through the grass and hit this? Because I don't know how else it would end up where it ended up.
I don't know either.
And
But it was fun.
and I'm having these thoughts as I'm doing my runs. I'm like, how did the cone end up there? It's like 5 seconds behind me. it was it was
Full focus.
yeah, it was a great way to spend a Wednesday evening. That was good. I like the midweek autocrosses. That should be a thing that is in more areas. I wonder how many
Yeah.
areas actually have that happening. I know OVR does it every once in a while, right? That's like a
Yep.
Columbus area autocross thing.
Yep. There's one in 2 weeks here. But other than that, I haven't seen it hardly anywhere.
Yeah, I
I mean,
think it works.
we used to do them in Wisconsin, but that was just like a small group of basically our friends.
Yeah, nobody lives
It's
up
not.
there, so like, how are you supposed to get people to show up?
Yeah. Maybe I'll work on that.
Like, like the Akron Sports Car Club event, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but like, I feel like as long as there's not an expo or something going on, you could do like autocross at the expo center, like that they hold like the north, excuse me, the Northeast Ohio events at. Like, you could do
Sure.
weekday events there.
I got some ideas.
Okay,
I'm not going to share them. I want them to be mine.
yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Um, I'm just going down my list of things that I wrote. from the last bunch of events. And I wrote Champcar talking with drivers here. I don't know what that meant, but I remember what it meant. Can I
Yay.
go into Champcar for a second?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I was sitting around with a bunch of Champcar people. The engine of the car I was racing, it was an E36 BMW. I was racing with Ben Shout, who we've done one lap with a couple times. Well, you once so far. And and Salil was on our team, and then Eric Scheimer, who's another friend of ours from one lap. And so it was the four of us, and the engine blew up in the car on Friday. Like first lap out, by turn 5, the engine was blown up on the out lap. So they spent the rest of the day sourcing an engine, waiting for it to get there, putting it in. Anyway, that turns into like hanging out at the racetrack super, super late at night, replacing the engine. And there's a bunch of other teams kind of coming by, and they're really invested in Ben because Ben is on the what's the acronym? Something advisory committee, the technical advisory committee for Champcar. So like he knows all these people, and they're coming by. And I had a great time like hanging out in that paddock because I realized I kind of like flit in and out of Champcar and WRL both just based on whatever team like is there with like I'm not really immersed like I when I walk around at SCCA or Grid Life or whatever other org. And it was also fascinating to listen to them talk about some of the classing issues and some of the creep issues they've had with pace and with spending and how literally carbon copied it is to like all the other series too. And I've been thinking so much about this like where is the foresight in grassroots motorsports? Where's the foresight? Where's the line in foresight to like we know where we want to end up in 3 to 5 years and we're going to work really hard at that. You know what I'm getting at? It's a lot of
Yeah.
the same stuff as Grid Life, where it's like Grid Life right now is everyone's frustrated that the Corvettes are winning, except the Corvette drivers who are like, we're working really hard and we're winning because we're working really hard, which both things can be true at once. This in Champcar was even more layered because they're all pretty annoyed that the Boxsters are so fast, which is literally the team that I've been racing with
Yep.
for 2 years.
Yep.
We race Boxsters. So
Wait.
I'm inside, but I'm not like part of Rad in the same in like it's not like I'm like
Way to ruin
core
it,
team,
Tom.
I guess. What?
I said, way to ruin it.
Oh, with the Boxsters, yeah. So I'm not like overly invested in Rockwell that I'm like defensive of the Boxsters. I'm just like that's what I've been racing with. And now this time I'm in the BMW, and we're just kind of hearing. So I have this perspective where I relate so much to these grassroots guys that are like, man, these pro teams with these Boxsters come in and they're so fast and we can't do anything about it. Or man, these guys with the Corvettes, like I can't do that with my car. Da 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 da. Right, and it's the same argument, but totally different series, totally different outcomes, totally different people. But listening to that was really interesting, and it got me thinking a lot about like what are the solutions to that? What are the I don't know what are the turning points where how that happens? And
What?
then why don't things get done about it faster? Is it because it's bad to overreact? Is it because it's hard to like tell your friends no? And these series all have a little layer of like friendship between the organization and the driver.
But
It's
then
like a really
also,
interesting thing.
like you're like, well, they already spent the money and they can't unspend the money. Is like that part because that shouldn't be in the heads of people who make rules at all.
I agree with that, but I also understand the hesitation once you have this customer base of people who have done that work and they've been around for 5
Yeah, you can't
years.
alienate them because they might go somewhere else.
Right. So at what point did you tell them yes and you should have said no? And how long did you let it go after? Because never mind, I'm not going to tell that story. It doesn't relate that well, but it's like it's a I don't the live chat's talking a lot about power to weight. I don't think it's a power to weight issue because Champ Car is not power to weight, but it does have a similar kind of weird point structure where you're like chasing the perfect mod system to like make your car the best, whereas in like power to weight, you're chasing the best power to weight cheats to get your car the best. I don't even know if this is a topic of conversation or if this is if you have thoughts on this,
I mean,
send it to us.
I think the only way you actually control like cost creep is how like the dirt racers do it, where it's like you can buy the winning car for a
Oh
set amount of money. Like
yeah,
that's such a great idea for that. So like if you show up with a super freaking tricked out car and you're winning races, somebody's gonna buy it.
yeah. I mean, how expensive do you think their claim rule is? Is it
I
so dirt cheap? Ah, see what I did?
I don't know. I'm not that immersed. I just know that that's a thing. And as soon as I heard about it, I was like, oh, that's that is literally the only way you can control this. Like lemons, it used to be like that. And then I think at some point they got rid of it. And now it's like becoming more and more and more expensive. Uh, but when you have like a buy rule, I think it works because nobody's gonna go because like uh, racing is surrounded by very successful people. They can spend money. A lot of the times, they're not even spending all the money that they could be, like I would be, or was,
Right.
or am. Um, like it's like, ooh, I would spend more if I could, but I literally can't. There's like, this is the
Yeah.
amount I'm willing to spend on this, because I need to buy 3 more vacation homes next week or year or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the amount of money that people can play with, we at the racetrack we only see the surface of it. So when it becomes like a spending game, when there's an advantage in spending and they're willing to spend the money, they will spend the money. But if it's a fun class and the cars are interesting to drive and the presentation of the class and the rules and the competitors in it and everything's like well controlled and there's a buy rule, I don't think the spending gets out of control because you somebody could buy your car. Like granted, like now you have a check and you go build another car, but if you dumped double that check into the car and it just got bought for that money, then you're going to kind of think twice of doing that, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody
I
bought
don't know.
like
I wonder if
if somebody buys your car, like there's a lot of dirt racers, they'll run a car, it'll look clean, it'll look nice, but they don't have fancy stuff on it. They're just hell of drivers. And they'll drive the car and somebody will buy it. And they just build
yeah.
another one. Or they already have another one built because they could build 2 with the money that they get from it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's how it works in
Yeah.
like the dirt world. So
And
that would be cool if that was in road racing.
it would be. It's just I have to wonder. Well, first of all, obviously road racing is maybe not obviously. I don't know. There's like all the cars are so different. Whereas like circle track, I feel like there's kind of like 4 or 5 core categories, and that's like what the cars are. But also to that, what you just talked about, Andy and I were joking about this idea because he was looking at buying this really, really cheap but seemingly nice road race car. And we were like, what if we did this YouTube series where we buy the cheapest road race car we can? We do the best with what we have to like make it as good as possible. We go race it, prove what it can do, sell it, and then we use the next profit to buy the next best car. And then we're like that guy that traded a pencil up for a
Yeah,
Porsche,
yeah.
you know?
Dude, that'd be
Uh,
legit. The only problem
That would be
is,
such a fun series,
dude,
but
that'd be
so much work.
oh, it would be so much work. And it would be the series would be kind of slow, right? So like it wouldn't like take off. I don't think it would like go viral unless
Yeah, you'd
like
have to like film a season of it or
yeah,
something.
exactly. You'd have to film a season and then like every week like have like an episode come out or something like that.
Or it would have to be like a build series.
Ugh,
Oh,
ugh,
just kidding.
ugh.
Just
Oh,
kidding.
hell yeah. That's always what I watch on my YouTube. My YouTube is just nothing but build series. Also, shout out Rip Hoonigan, got killed by the
Yeah,
private equity. I was a big Hoonigan fan, and because I'm a car guy, and that's what car guys like, is they like the Hoonigan stuff. And yeah, just thought I would point that out. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Carlton.
dude, I had it on my to-do list to ask Carlton what he thought of all these major YouTube channels imploding. Glad we got his hot take.
From private equity zoning them.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was hearing a lot about that at Solo Nationals. It's kind of interesting.
yeah, private equities.
It's I don't know the details specifically, so if I get this wrong, sorry. But yeah, basically like Donut and Hoonigan and some of these like major content houses that are in automotive started to get acquired by people and businesses who wanted to make them make more money. And the creators who are like the core of it were like, ah, screw that. We're not doing that. Did you notice like a bunch of them going out on their own and
Yep,
stuff?
and just starting another thing. It turns
Yeah.
out like the individuals that are like the talented people is what makes the company.
Yep.
Yeah, crazy, crazy how that works.
I also love seeing our generation not take the generation before us as like shit, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, no, we're not going to do that. That's dumb.
It's so I know that like private equity is making a push to like get into like enthusiast like the automotive space because they're
Hmm.
trying to cash in on the brand loyalty and like the fandom of a thing. So my advice would be don't don't have brand loyalty and don't be a fan of anything. Just get whatever the best product is. Don't be a fan. Don't be
Yeah,
a Ford guy or I almost said or a Mustang guy. Or a Chevy
totally
guy or
different.
a Honda guy or a this or that or this brand or that, just whatever is at the moment the best, like bang for dollar, makes the most amount of sense. Do that. Don't have like brands shift and change and the quality changes all the time. It literally, it's all always in flux. So yeah, I would just go off of what is happening in the paddock right now, not has what has historically happened.
Yeah. We probably get a way more inside baseball look at this stuff than most people because you work in it and I work in it
Yeah.
kind of differently, but the same. The last part of the Champ Car weekend that was like tough was obviously, like I said, it was just the four of us, and we were the perfect group of like friends and strangers because it's like people I've done one lap with, but I don't know them super well, and they know a couple things that I've like. We all knew people we knew, and we could mesh really well together, but we weren't overly familiar. But we were also just the four of us, so we were doing the pit stops and all this stuff that like when I'm racing with Rockwell, there's a crew for privilege, blah blah blah.
Whoa, Tom
But
did you have to
it was the
grab a
first.
wrench?
I had to
Were
no,
you
I
the
had to
gas
live with
guy?
not knowing how to help. No, I had to live with not knowing how to help for the first time in a long time. Like I felt with ASM all the time, which
Wait,
was like,
were
ah,
you the gas guy or were you the extinguisher guy?
I was the extinguisher guy, but I'm talking like when the engine was blown up or like turning the car
Oh,
around for the next day. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
I want to help and I don't know how. Damn it.
You just entertain
That
him.
feels so gross.
Nah,
Yeah, I did. I did.
yeah, you just entertain. I mean, that's what you did at ASM too. Anytime your car was broken, you would just go
Thanks,
make it.
monkey.
You would just go make everyone lunch. Like that serves purpose. Somebody's got to make the
Fair,
lunch
fair.
around here.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
I DJ'd the music. It
Yeah.
was good. But I hadn't had that because I've been autocrossing stock cars or driving on, very fortunately, with teams with crew. So if like sitting there realizing how helpless I was feels bad. It's like
You're like, oh no, I haven't felt this in a while.
you you're so good at jumping in and just like figuring out the information you need to make yourself useful. Where I feel like I get myself in the way.
Well, I feel like I get in the way too.
Oh,
Well,
well,
what you see is me trying to be useful, and then like literally 5 minutes later, I realize I'm just like getting in everyone's way, and then I just end up in a chair. That's what you see.
well, you fooled me.
Well, I look like I wanted to help because I did. I did want to help, whatever the issue might be. But I Raul goes, hold the flashlight. Yep, I can do that.
Yeah. Here, hold this is on the top of my resume.
I was like Captain Flashlight anytime I was working on something with my dad, and then I would never seem to point it at the right spot. So, woe is me.
Hey, of the two of you, only one of you is fired from working on your race car. Temporarily,
that is
anyway,
true.
right?
That is true. There was somebody said something in the chat that I wanted to say. Oh, Todd Cayley, when we were talking about people with unlimited money, he said, look at Lawrence Stroll. He bought his son Adrian Newey. Yeah.
But Daddy, I want the golden goose now.
Is that your Lance Stroll impression? I love it. I wish I
It's
could.
my Varuk assault, I think.
I wish I could assign voice filters over the USB. Unfortunately, I can't. Maybe they'll come out with a patch at some point so I can. Because I would love to give that accent like a voice filter so it could be a character on the show. That'd be hilarious. Oh my God.
The spoiled. Oh, dude, I had this idea. So that would be like the spoiled rich kid driver voice. I had this idea because I love. You and I have this little secret. It's not secret, but thing where we like to watch like kind of bloopery videos of
Yep.
in-car videos. I had this idea for an Instagram account because I don't want to post people doing dopey shit on my Instagram account. That seems wrong.
Oh,
But like a totally private, a totally
it's
like
totally
separate
not Tom
account
O'Gorman. You even put that in
called
the you put that in the description. This is not ran by
called
Tom O'Gorman.
called NPC Driver.
Oh, where they have
And then you
boogers?
just
You find booger moments and
basically you could go through all these YouTube videos and just find people like driving like NPCs.
yeah.
Oh, it'd be so funny. I would hope to find myself in there someday doing something dopey and being like, oh man, yeah, I know that was dumb. Yeah, Ivan just posted a video of the two Porsche factory drivers crashing each other out of the Daytona 24-hour on like the second to last lap a couple years ago.
Oh no.
Dude, their boss had to be so pissed.
Yeah, I bet. Did you see clips from it was some SRO race this weekend with GT4 cars all running into each other?
Yeah, that was a big one.
Dude, what? It was a lot of cars crashing.
Also, Kenton won that race.
Oh, did he?
I think being on the podcast was good for him.
You know what, guys? Look, proof. Kenton listened to one single episode. It happened to be the episode he was in, but he listened to it while he was in it. He probably didn't listen to it afterwards, but now he's a winner. Like he's never won anything before.
In fact, since he's been a scheduled guest on the Lizard Brains podcast, he has a 100% podium rate.
That is true. Yeah.
Crazy. Oh, no, they ran out of gas in the GT cars. Never mind. Sorry, Kenton.
Oh, we already. All right. Well, don't let reality get in the way of a good story, Tom.
Yeah. The other thing I wrote down from this last couple of weeks was, and then I have stories of taking Eric's car to the circle track.
Yeah.
But not very many.
Well, I'm still. Was that the. Okay, go on. We'll talk about that in a second.
Well, this one's not very long because I wrote, quote unquote, how do you practice that? Was my note that I thought I would remember what that meant. And I don't really remember what that means, but I think that's a really.
How would you practice that?
It's a stupid thing to bring up because now I don't know what I was talking about. But basically, when you realize, kind of like what you were talking at the beginning of the podcast with, I realize this symptom and maybe I understand the solution, but how do I practice that?
Exactly. Like, or not even.
I think it was something to do with either racecraft or something in the Champcar race. It'll come back to me maybe, but
I feel like, how do I practice that? Like the solution is you figuring out a way to practice it, right? Like
kind of.
That is the solution. If you find a way to like iron out that bad habit or that weakness or whatever it is, if you find a way to practice it into a habit or just like something that you don't think about, right? Like a subconscious executable, then now it's not a problem anymore. You have practiced it into or out of existence as a problem.
I love that we're philosophically answering a question that I don't actually know what the question was.
I thought at some point you'd figure it out.
Yeah, no, it didn't come back to me. So Eric Civic. Anyway, that was a fun tangent.
Okay. So earlier, I think it was on Monday. So we're recording on Wednesday evening, and also Wednesday evening seems to be bumping for the audience. You guys are all little night owls. For the live audience, join the Discord. It's in the description. So I see videos of, and I'm in a group chat with Tom and Eric, and I'm like kind of half paying attention to it. And Eric's trying to get the car on track for some reason. I don't know why. Tom will explain in a second. And then I just see something like Shady Bowl. Like, what about Shady Bowl? And I'm like, what even is that? Like, what are these guys talking about? And I'm like, whatever. I'm going to focus on work because I'm trying to get caught up on all my emails. And the next thing I know, I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see videos of Tom on a circle track in Eric's car. Why? Also, it looked really fun.
It was really fun. Unfortunately, it was kind of a bummer of a night by the end of it because we didn't get the problem fixed. And by we, I mean just Eric. I was not useful. But so he's had that problem since Lime Rock of the car. Let me get this right. The throttle body is having faults or like skips. And that's what basically took him out of Lime Rock.
Oh, it like puts him in like a limp mode or something?
No, it's more like a fuel starve, but it gets progressively worse and worse the longer you push through it. I think is kind of what it was.
Yeah.
So, but it's at the throttle. It's rooted at the throttle body. So anyway, I don't know why he hasn't done it since before now. That's not my business. But he picked this week, the race week of Autobahn, to like, I need to do something about this. So he's going to try to go to Auto Interest, but it was sold out that day. And I was like, hey, remember that little speedway that Fields tested the Cardinal at with me a couple weeks ago, just to like get the car hot and like put some load into the tires legally? Why don't you call them? Dude, the place is 50 minutes west of me, so it's like 35 minutes for Eric. Out past Honda, out in Marysville. It's a little 3/8 mile, kind of like almost football shaped oval. Like the corners feel kind of tight and the straights are kind of like broad bends. And it's $50 an hour. They're just
What?
like, yeah, we're
Can,
here till dark. It's $50 an hour.
dude. All right.
Yeah,
When I get this
unfortunately.
SSC FRS, are we just gonna go there and rip laps?
Yeah, that'd be fun. It wouldn't have a shelf life for very long. Like we'd be bored in 30 minutes.
But if we
But
both,
it is really cool.
no. Look, if we both went and like chased each other around for $25 each for an hour, that would totally be worth it. You get to slide a car around for an hour for $25.
You know, I said oval, right?
Yeah.
It's
We'll
just
go
a
the
tiny
other
little-
way. We'll go the other way to like even out the tire wear.
Sure. There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just an excuse for him to take the car out and get it hot and put some load into it. But he was like, hey, if you can drive it, then I can work on it way faster and like not have to get in and out and all that. So like I said, he didn't get it fixed. He was trying a new ECU that just ended up not working at all. It was like making the car run really bad. And they didn't figure out why. So the only downside also of testing in a little middle of nowhere speedway in Ohio is you don't have jack for cell service.
Oh no.
So he's trying to like talk to his tuner. What am I doing? No cell service.
And you can't
couldn't do it.
remote in because like you can't get a hotspot working.
Yeah. So of course, I don't know if this dude heard us or whatever, but someone calls up and they're like, hey, can I come run some laps too? They pop up with like a modified, no. Super stock, maybe? Kind of like the street stock in iRacing, like a flat bodied, like vague looking, like
I think they call them street stocks for real.
sure. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
So we're alternating, like trying to get the Civic to run, and then this guy goes out, and so there's like a couple other people there, and this guy walks over, our new best oval friend. He's like, "Man, we used to run one of these, something." Of course, like he always like they always do. And then he pulls out his little timer, and he's like, "I got you guys at 14.4. They barely touch 13s in those." And he points over to the
circle track
street
car?
stock or the whatever. Yeah. So then we're like, oh, we were like getting a little motivated to like push a little harder, but then the car kept breaking, so we couldn't. But we're
Dang
like,
it.
this is probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing that we're not out there like freaking chasing
You're
lap
like,
times.
yeah,
on an
you're like
oval.
chasing it all the way to the wall.
Yeah. I did have a moment with when I was getting in and Eric said, just don't crash it. It's like,
Don't say that.
well, don't say that, but also I don't like really know if I have any control over that on an oval, which is kind of why I don't want to do oval racing in the first place. It feels like you don't have any control of if you crash or not.
I'd do some oval racing. I wonder how much a seat costs to rent.
You got to talk to Houghton. He's been doing oval racing for a while in
Like-
one of those front wheel drive in an Integra.
Oh.
You could go up to Canada and be a little circle track rat.
So we had this I wish I remembered what the series was called, but we had this series reach out to Hawk for sponsorship.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what happened with that. I don't know if I should talk about it, but here we go.
This is
and-
what we hit the top 100, and now we're gonna start throwing in
We're just throwing it in.
all the spicy stories. See
Anyways,
how much broadcast
They're
we
like
actually have.
they're like quarter ton. Oh my god, I didn't even know that was an emoji. I'm stealing that one. Alex posted a hawk emoji in the chat. Anyways, they race like quarter ton trucks, so like 1500s, like F-150s, stuff like this.
Tough trucks.
It's not tough trucks though. It's oval, and they look like they drive like shit. Like the rear end is like super loose because there's no weight back there, and so like they're just chasing the rear everywhere. And there's like 30 or 40 of these trucks racing on an oval, and it's like super jam packed, and the racing like actually looks pretty good.
You called it. What do you call them? Quarter ton trucks.
Yeah, just look up like amateur. I think it's like based in Wisconsin. It's amateur truck oval or something like that. Somebody in the chat, please find it.
Racing. That sounds super fun. It's just a bunch of iRacing stuff that pops up when you do
Dang
that.
it. Oh man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I brought up a thing that I don't know what it's called, but something like that would be like Like, how much would it cost to rent? Like what? Like a set of tires, and then like don't wreck it.
But again, do you have any control over that?
I don't know. Do we have anybody that listens to the podcast that would like to hear us talk about driving their oval car?
Or this would be a good like we've had Ryan was a rally co-driver. We've had him on. We need to have like a circle driver on.
I think we do.
We'll find somebody. We don't have any friends that do only ovals.
No, we're not in that circle. If anybody knows an oval track person that they think would be entertaining on the show, please reach out to us.
So they set at this little speedway that they run out here every Friday or Saturday. Every Saturday in the summer. And they have like, let's say, I think he said 5 or 6 classes, but they only race 4 every weekend. So if your class is off that week, that's like your off week to like recoup. But otherwise, they're like every Saturday, they're running the exact same thing. They pull in, they unload the car, and they take it off the trailer and take it out on track. They get 1 lap for qualifying. Then that's the grid. And he said they sometimes run like up to 50 cars, which this little place is like 3/8 mile. I'm pretty sure it's just solid 2 lines all the way around.
Yeah, hold on. They have to do like heats or something.
That's not what this guy said, but I mean, he seemed credible. He came and talked to us.
Yeah, definitely credible then.
Uh,
There's yeah, like what else do you need?
It was so funny. We went through this really, really fast ramp of like, oh, there's a new guy. He wants to talk about this car. Oh, he's saying something a little bit interesting. We're engaging. Oh my God, he's overly friendly. He needs to go away now. Please leave us alone to work on this car. We went through that so fast.
Oh.
I think everybody who's been at a racetrack has both been in that scenario and been both of those people where you're both. Sometimes you're the annoying one and sometimes you're the one that wants to be left alone.
We have a particular friend that will even point out that, oh no, I'm talking to you too much and you want to leave, and then you're like, oh thank goodness they're self-aware and they were gonna, and then they keep talking to you.
It's wild.
Uh,
Motorsports would make such a good reality show if we wanted to burn motorsports down.
I don't want to though. I love it too much.
I don't want to either. It's too sacred.
Oh man. All right. So I think I might throw that in my goals for next year, Tom, is to do like an oval track race, either dirt or asphalt.
Nice. Actually, okay, so what would you realize the thought? You know enough about iRacing. What do you want to drive? Where do you start? The 4-cylinder thing? You want to start in a stock car? What do you want to do?
I could do like a front wheel drive, like something. I think like the pack racing would be like really fun because like just the cluster of cars, like all like basically dancing with each other, like up the oval, down the oval, like, and it's just like all these like minuscule differences is like what matters to like whether you're past or the outside lane is gonna be slightly different than inside. Like, I think that would be pretty sick.
I agree. I've heard that the compacts class is like the craziest one.
Okay, yeah,
Probably because it's like rookie Miatas. It's probably like the entry, so it's the rowdiest.
Let's do that.
I don't know that I want to do that.
Do you not want to
Genuinely
do
don't.
it?
I don't like getting hit. I just assume that there's a lot of contact, and I
There might
really
be a
don't
lot
like
of
getting
contact.
hit.
Maybe it needs a preliminary investigation. Like I go watch a race to see what before I like throw
Sure.
myself into a car. That's because I think in my brain I'm like, ooh, that would be so much fun. But then if I watch in reality and go like, I'm glad they enjoy that.
Kind of like when we were watching that one NASA weekend.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, everyone's really hitting each other a lot.
Yeah, but they're having fun.
They were high-fiving after, so they were having a great
Yeah.
time. It's just like if somebody was hitting my car that much, I think I'd be a little angry.
Yeah, right. I think what would I want to do with an oval? I think I would want to drive the modified. I always thought those looked so cool with like the exposed front wheels, but the like embodied rear wheels.
I would do that on dirt.
I don't want to get that dirty. I think I'm good. I'll do asphalt.
You'll wipe off. It'll be good. What do you mean? Oh, I don't want to get dirty. Get out of here. What about trophy trucks? You would do that. You'd get dirty doing that.
Yeah, but I really only want to do it on a road course. Like Mid Ohio. I'm going to manifest this. Todd already spoiled it in the chat. I want to race the NASCAR truck race at Lime Rock next year.
Okay.
They already put it out on the calendar. They already have a date. I don't know anything about how to do it other than I have some friends who have done it before. I'm going to reach out to them and be like, what do I need to know? How much money do I need? Who do I need to give it to? And I don't want to drive around a 40th place truck.
I wonder how much a 20th place truck costs.
I don't.
I don't even
I'm
know who we
assuming
would
that's not
reach
good.
out to. How would we figure this out? Because if you reach out just out of the blue, like just like their customer service inbox, you're gonna get the full like we don't know who this person rate is, right?
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm manifesting on the podcast. If we're a top 100 automotive podcast, surely someone out there knows a race car team with a Craftsman truck.
Yeah,
Is it even Craftsman anymore? I don't
I
know
don't
what it
know.
is. Camping World?
It's something.
But I want
Nastra.
to do it.
Okay, man, Tom.
You're going to be driving mini stocks or mini compacts on an oval. I'm going to be freaking trucking on Lime Rock.
Oh
Dude,
my
next year's
god,
going to be sick.
dude, what? Next thing you know, we're just doing oval racing.
Yeah, can it be next year already?
It's like a Venn diagram that you never thought would exist, like oval racing and autocross.
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
do you think people already do that? You think there's like oval racers who also autocross?
I think we would know them. I bet there are autocrossers who have oval raced and vice versa.
I know what class they
Who?
would be in.
Cam.
Cam.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't really know a lot of Cam people, so that probably actually exists.
So Tim says Brian out of Kansas City does both.
Dude, I'll just call Brian.
Yeah.
And we'll talk. I need more information on this, but I'm manifesting it earlier. I'm like a year early on this. Okay, so I got like a lot of runway, as they say in those business meetings.
So I mean the NAS truck's gonna be great on the single left-hander on the track.
Yeah, I feel like that's a situation where if you get the car that's just wrecked just right, it's probably so good at that track.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Maybe you do want the 40th place truck then.
I don't-
They'll be like,
My
"Oh,
understanding,
dang it, we got this truck. It turns so good to the right, but it doesn't turn to the left. It's a 40th place truck."
yeah. Actually, that's really not a bad idea because I think the chassis are all like built that way. They're all.
Built to
I
turn
don't know what
left
I'm
better.
talking about. Never mind. I'm gonna
Well,
stop talking
no,
now.
look, at least in
think they are, but-
iRacing, all the oval cars turn to the left better no matter what you do with the setup. So there's got to be something to that.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know what I find out.
Did
Oh, okay. This
Chandler-
goes back
did-
to the
Hold on,
previous thing.
did Chandler do dirt oval? He just posted a picture of maybe
did,
himself as
and
a child.
And a little while back, he said that that they had a $150 claim rule on motors. So that must have been in the cart. I guess you could claim a motor off the cart.
Oh. See,
An
that makes
interesting
sense.
little,
A claim on the
Ooh.
motor makes sense.
yeah, especially for like spec Miata or the oval stuff where they're probably running spec motors.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're in a spec class, a claim on the motor is actually pretty legit. That'd be really annoying if people kept claiming your engine though. Like every event you're like throwing a new engine in the car.
That sounds terrible. I think on a go-kart it's like 7 bolts, right?
Yeah, I think a go-kart's pretty easy, but on a car that would be really annoying.
Mark Kruger suggested talking to Preston Pardis. That's a great call. I do know Preston. I'll talk to him.
Yeah, Preston would know who to talk to for sure.
Although the only problem with that is I have to be careful who I talk to because I don't want to like tip off the wrong person or like you can't get the wrong information because someone's competitive. You know what I'm getting at? Like I would pull the like you called me out for holding secrets. He would be like, yeah, here's the 40th place team. It's gonna be great.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know?
You have to be you know what you do? This is what you do, Tom. You enter a spec Miata race that Preston's in and you throw. You throw it. You get like 30th. And then he's like, "Oh, Tom McGorman's not as good as I thought he was." And then you're like, "Hey, Preston, how's it going? Congrats on the win, by the way. Hey,
You're so fast.
You're so fast. Is there any way that you could get me in touch with the NASCAR people? Because I really want to do a race at Lime Rock. I think that'd be a lot of fun." And then you're
honestly,
in, dude.
I'm not self-absorbed enough or whatever to think that I wouldn't actually just straight up finish 30th in my first spec Miata race. I've never really done that before.
I think it would be pretty wild too. Dude, there's so much cool racing out there that I feel like I want to Forza car select all these things. Like,
Yeah.
Like I want to do like SRF. I want to do like a formula, like either like what was the class that like actually had cars in it at SCCA runoffs last year?
Formula Enterprises.
Formula Enterprises. I want to do that. Spec Miata. Um, yeah, I've already done Spec MX-5, but I wouldn't mind doing that again.
It's got to sell more stickers. Kelsey's got it right.
Turns out, literally, I just noticed this. All the things I picked were spec. I think that's my jam, Tom.
I think so.
Yeah.
I had all those on my list before I picked B spec, which is ironically not spec. I think it'd be fun to dabble in those over time.
Yeah, Raul said Radical Cup, absolutely. Rush SR. Yep. Small bodied prototypes, then you start running into like totally different chassis and stuff like that. And it would be stuff I wouldn't understand, so I wouldn't be that interested in it.
Well, my list is exhausted. Do you have anything else from this past week?
Tom, I'm also exhausted.
Yeah, I'm pretty pooped. What are you doing this coming up week? I think we're just going to end this one pretty short. We have so many great questions that we're going to start hitting next week, but it's almost 11 p.m. We're going to crank this out.
Yeah.
What are you doing this coming week?
This weekend, I'm going to Akron Sports Car Club again at Dragway 42. Me and Peter are driving for their like normal weekend event. What are you doing?
Tomorrow I'm Mid Ohio, and then the rest of the weekend I'm going to Autobahn. Grid Life.
Yeah.
My first Grid Life of the year. First Grid Life of the year. Because I didn't stick around for CMP. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see people.
Autobahn is such a I think it's like an underrated track. It's actually really fun.
I agree. Autobahn South is like a super sleeper hit. It's so good.
It's so good. Like turn 4. Is that the first fast corner? And then turn 5 right after it. Those are really good. And then you got like kind of like a false apex corner where it's like it's a little vague, but like once you like kind of figure it out, like it feels good. And then the ending sequence is super good. Like you're kind of like sliding out like toward the wall, and then you just have just enough room when you're going across the finish line. Super good. Something about it, just like with where the curbings are and where the track limits are and the edges and stuff like that. It's all super good.
So why aren't you coming?
I'm gonna drive. Look.
No, you're making the good choice.
Yeah. Going like. Especially like the Grid Life weekends are so busy, so like the chances of driving something is pretty low, and I would rather 100% for sure drive something. So
I don't know if I have no plan for Grid Life. I'm just going.
You're just going to hang? Yeah, that would be a pretty expensive. Maybe if Hawk was footing the bill and I could go and just like hang out, then maybe that I would consider that as an option.
Sure.
But that would be pretty expensive for me to just like go hang out.
Yeah, I get that.
So unless I like slept in Andy's trailer, but I'm guessing you already have dibs on that.
Yeah, I think so.
You're not even sure.
And I'm not going to share with you. Yeah, I don't really know where I'm staying yet, but I'll figure that out. I slept in a tent 2 weeks ago. I can't get any worse than that. Just kidding.
Could it? Wait, did you?
Yeah, a pit race.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
On purpose.
How did that go? Did you have like a mat or anything, or do you just lay on the ground?
I was just on the ground.
Oh.
I like raw dogged it full stop. But I had a I had a blanket that I folded a couple layers, and then luckily it was only like 60 degrees outside.
Lena does make a good point. The weather is good for tenting this weekend. I do like sleeping in a tent when there's like showers and stuff on site.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna autocross though. I'm having a lot of fun driving right now.
That's good.
So
are you well, I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna ask. You said something at Nationals that I was gonna ask about with your looking forward to other events.
Yeah.
You're just doing your continuation of the year.
Yeah. I'm so the car that I drove at the autocross, it's a Mike Kubiak's Corvette. He's put a lot of work into it this year, and it's a really fun car to drive. That's the car that I'm going to be driving for Time Trial Nationals. So
hell yeah.
So that should be fun. It has like this Electron Sport aero package on it So it has like the same like the back in the day, like what did they call it? Like Grand Am when C5s were in
Oh
like
yeah.
IMSA like level.
Mhm.
They had this aero package on it. So I'm like basically driving a without a cage, like a Grand Am style Corvette for NCM, which is pretty cool.
Grand Am GT driver,
Yeah.
DJ Alessandrini.
Bum, 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 bum. It still
That's
has
cool.
an interior and air conditioning, which we definitely used today because it was freaking hot.
Yeah. Are we done with it being hot yet? Can we all agree?
I don't think weather works like that.
No, it's gonna be in the 80s all week again. Anyway. Well, I'm really excited for your autocrossing. I'm excited for my track day weekend. I'm so sleepy.
Tom.
I think I just started the outro and ran out of gas halfway through.
Okay, should I hit the button or is there more or should I hit the button?
No, that's about it. I
That's
think I'm
about
good.
it. All right, guys. Sorry for the
That's-
shorter episode, but you know, you can't always get what you want, everyone.
We also covered a lot of ground.
We
So,
did.
hey, we hope you enjoyed that. Next week, we're back to full schedule with emails. But for now, I love your hair and I hope you win.